Every flamingo you've ever seen in a photo was not born pink. Not one. Every single flamingo hatches gray, or dull white, closer to a pigeon than anything you'd put on a postcard. That famous pink color isn't in their genes at all. It's not something they're born with, and it's not fixed for life. It comes entirely from what they eat, built up slowly, feather by feather, over months and years. Think about that for a second. The single most recognizable feature of an entire species isn't hardwired biology. It's diet. Take away the food, and the color goes with it. Here's how it actually works. Flamingo chicks hatch looking almost nothing like the adults most people picture. Plain gray feathers, sometimes closer to white. No pink in sight. As they grow, they start feeding on algae, small shrimp, and other tiny organisms living in the water around them. Those organisms are loaded with pigments called carotenoids. It's the same broad category of pigment responsible for an orange carrot and a pink salmon fillet. Same chemical family, completely different animals, completely different reason people notice them. A carrot gets its orange color from that same broad pigment family. So does a salmon fillet. Different animals entirely, same underlying chemistry, the same class of pigment, doing completely different jobs. Those carotenoids don't just pass through a flamingo's body and disappear. They get absorbed and deposited directly into the growing feathers. Slowly, over months and years, the color shifts. Gray fades toward pink, then orange, and in some flamingos, all the way to a deep coral red. How far the color goes depends entirely on how much pigment-rich food is available where that particular flamingo lives, not on anything encoded in its DNA. So picture two flamingos, same species, same genetics, living in different habitats. One spends its life in pigment-rich waters, packed with shrimp and algae. The other lives somewhere leaner, with less of that food around. The first bird ends up almost impossibly saturated, vivid pink or deep coral. The second stays noticeably paler its whole life. Same bird, same DNA, completely different color, just because of what was available to eat. Here's the part that really flips the idea on its head. This isn't just about wild birds and their habitats. It happens in captivity too. Flamingos kept in zoos can actually fade back toward pale gray or dull white if their diet doesn't include those specific pigments. The color isn't locked in. It's not permanent. It has to be maintained constantly through food, the same way a suntan fades once you stay out of the sun, stop supplying the pigment, and the bird visibly loses its color over time. That's exactly why zoos add pigment supplements directly into captive flamingo diets today. Without those supplements, keepers would end up with gray flamingos standing around exhibits. Technically, still flamingos, biologically identical, just missing the one feature everybody actually comes to see. Honestly, that's what makes this one of the strangest facts in the animal kingdom. Most animals get their signature colors from genetics, fixed at birth and impossible to change no matter what they eat. Flamingos get theirs from a grocery list instead, and it can be added, reduced, or lost entirely depending on what's on the menu that particular season. So the next time you see that vivid pink bird balancing calmly on one leg, understand what you're actually looking at. That color isn't identity. It's not something coded into its DNA the way stripes are coded into a tiger. It's diet, worn on the outside, one shrimp and one bite of algae at a time, for months on end. Underneath all of that color is just a plain gray bird. Strip away the shrimp, the algae, the carotenoids, and you're left with the same dull gray chick it hatched as, just older, and waiting patiently to be fed again. So no, flamingos were never born pink. They earned it, meal by meal, and they have to keep earning it for the rest of their lives, one meal at a time, for as long as they live. Follow for more random things you may not know.